Well, guys, welcome in to Scap Live. I had to wait, till after dark to launch Scap Live After Dark. Welcome into post-game coverage of the whatever golf master was on tonight. I think Scheffler holds on to win that one. I'm kidding, obviously. We're here to talk. We're here to bury. We're here to put a bow on the final moments of the Denver Nuggets. Maybe of any of this iteration that we might ever see. Possibly this could be the culmination of that team. I think in this format that we've seen in the last several years. This core has been together for many seasons now, since Tim Connolly constructed them. I think Aaron Gordon was pretty much the last piece. The rest of these guys, really the core four being Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Nikola Jokic. Three of the four of those homegrown drafted guys, and Aaron Gordon, the final piece via trade. And I think we've kind of seen the last moments of this team. Thank God it needs to be the last moments of this team, because I think everything was on full display in this Game 7 tonight. Everything realistically that I've been talking about for a couple years now, really just in the total ineptitude of this team, really the team building just absolutely putrid. And the Thunder, first off, hats off to them. They're by far the better team. They are, quite frankly, they're one of the best teams I've ever seen. The Thunder were choking all over themselves throughout this series. I think it was a breathtaking choke job that they nearly pulled off to even let themselves get into a Game 7 against this team. Should have been a sweep for sure. It's absolutely, I've been dressing it up about the Nuggets, and they were fighting hard, of course, and they were taking advantage, but the Thunder were just playing down throughout most of this series. We saw really in two games, in Game 2 and Game 7, really when the Thunder were pushed up against it, really when the Thunder's backs were truly against the wall, did we see the full and total force of this team and their capabilities. Obviously, if they go down 0-2 at home, the series was over. And if they lost to go down 3-2 at home, if they lost today, at 3-3, they were going home. The series was officially going to be over. And in those two games, really, 43-point beating in Game 2 and whatever it ended up being, I think 32 tonight, but really not that close. So in the two true games where the Thunder gave the full might and showed their full hand, they absolutely obliterated the Nuggets, because they're substantially better than the Denver Nuggets, like substantially, like a lot, like a historically great team versus maybe the 8th or 9th best team, if that, in the NBA this year. So that's what it looks like when you have 5 top 5 net rated defenders, 2 of them committed to Jokic pretty much all game long. When you throw 3 people on one guy with like 3 top 15 league-wide defenders, and none of the other teammates make any kind of shot at any point other than the first quarter, that's what it looks like. And what I'm talking about here is it was obvious what the Thunder's game plan was all series long, and why the hell wouldn't it be? The best player on the face of the planet in Nikola Jokic, one of, to me, the handful of best players that's ever existed in Nikola Jokic, surrounded by such sheer ineptitude in terms of the surrounding pieces. Why wouldn't you make them prove it? Why wouldn't you dare them to make shots? They have throughout the course of the series. Make no mistake, the Nuggets at times flashed the ability to knock wide open shots down. Like, why does this team look good from time to time? Because some of the time they have the capabilities to make wide open shots that they're given all the time, because nobody can stop Jokic with any one person. Most teams in the NBA can't stop him with any 2 players. This Thunder team has unique personnel where when you commit 2 or 3 guys, they can absolutely shut Jokic down. If nobody else is acting as any kind of a pressure release valve And we saw that nobody else was doing that tonight. In the first quarter, it looked pretty good. First of all, the Thunder were choking. The Thunder looked tight, inexperienced, and young in the first quarter. They came out, missed a lot of easy looks in the first quarter, and the Nuggets were making shots in the first quarter. And when you're putting 2 or 3 guys on Jokic all day, all game, all series, and daring the other guys to make shots, it's going to look good when they're actually hitting. That's why they were up 5 to end the first quarter. Because in the first quarter, well, Jokic had 3 assists in the first quarter, and everybody else was hitting their wide open shots. Michael Porter Jr., 1 of 2 from the field. Aaron Gordon, 1 of 2. 4 of 7 shooting for Christian Braun in the first quarter. 1 of 3 for Murray, and 1 of 3 for Westbrook. But 9 of 20 overall for the Nuggets in that first quarter. And if you take Nikola Jokic out of that factor, they were 8 of 17 were the complementary players getting wide open looks in the first quarter. They were making their wide open looks in the first quarter. I personally don't think it's too much to ask that you make wide open looks when the opposing team commits 2 or 3 guys max to guard 4 other players. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that they shoot well. They did in the first quarter. It all went to hell after that for the entire rest of the game, beginning in the second quarter. And what am I talking about in that second? Well, in the second, Nikola Jokic was 3 of 5 shooting in the second, trying his best to hold them into it. But their 5-point lead at the end of one evaporated totally and turned into a 14-point deficit by halftime. The game was over. So a 19-point swing in the second quarter as Jokic tried to hold them in on 3 of 5 shooting for him, 10 points in the quarter. But everybody else started missing those wide open shots. 0 of 2 for Michael Porter Jr., 1 of 4 for Christian Braun, 1 of 4 for Jamal Murray, 0 of 3 for Peyton Watson, 0 of 1 for Julian Strother. And if you remove Nikola Jokic's 3 of 5 from the field in that second quarter, the remainder of the Nuggets were 3 of 15 in that second quarter. So 8 of 17 on wide open shots in the first, 5-point lead. 3 of 15 in the second on those wide open shots, 14-point deficit. Game, series, match. The best team in league history in the regular season showed up and played like it tonight. And a team that was bottom 5 in the NBA, one of the 5 worst net differentials in the league this year, with Nikola Jokic out of the lineup per 100 possessions, played like it tonight. When you look at it really in totality for the whole game, it's hard to gauge these numbers, quite frankly, because pretty much all the Nuggets just played 3 quarters. But still, what I'm really looking at, Jokic, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He only shot 9 times because they had 3 people on him the whole game. And they were absolutely daring him to just give it up to wide open shooters. He was acquiescing. And as I said on the lead in here, that this is probably the end of this Nuggets lineup as we know it. And the core 4 that led them for the last 4 or 5 years, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Jamal Murray, outside of Nikola Jokic, who was 5 of 9 for 20 points in this game. The other 3 of the big 4, if you will, Porter Jr., Gordon, and Murray, a cumulative 27 points for the 3 of them on 28 shots. So 11 of 28 shooting for them, 38% roughly from the field, 28 shots for 27 points for Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Jamal Murray. There really was nothing else on this team all night. Everybody else played absolutely lousily. Christian Braun ends the game actually with 19 on 7 of 14. Kind of misleading because 9 of those points on 4 of 7 shooting came in the first quarter. So he kind of trailed off substantially after that first quarter. Conversely, it was, just a team effort by the vastly superior team in this game. SGA ends with a great game, 35 points. He hit about I don't know, 9 points after the Nuggets. It was 7 or 9 points he scored after the Nuggets pulled all of their starters in the fourth quarter, down like 40. For whatever reason, Dagnall left all of his starters in, and Shea hit like 2 layups and a 3 in literal pure garbage time. But whatever, they earned the right to have to do whatever they wanted at the end of that game. The real story was Jalen Williams. He was the tone setter at the beginning of the game, I think, in the first half. Really, Shea was kind of quiet in the first quarter. He had 5 points. It was just a team, an even team distributed effort in that first quarter. Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein had good first quarters. Really, nobody was popping off the screen in the first quarter. Again, they trailed by 5. Chet Holmgren led the way with 6 points on 3 of 6 in the first quarter. It was really in the second quarter. This thing went south precipitously. It was, again, they were up 5 when Jokic goes off the floor at the end of the first, and he got all of 90 seconds rest because the Thunder hit them with an 8-0 run in 90 seconds to start the second quarter. So the Nuggets were leading the whole game. They were up 5 at the end of 1, and then within 90 seconds of the start of the second, they were already down 4. So they came back quickly with Jokic. But in that second quarter, it was 100% Jalen Williams. 8 of 11 for 17 points in the second quarter for Jalen Williams to lead the way. A lot of shit talked on him, and he was not good throughout large portions of this series. But when they needed him, he had one big 32-point game. He hit the biggest shot of the game in Game 5 in the corner to break the tie under a minute. And then tonight, really, he blew the game open in the second quarter. I say he, but it was primarily the defense of the Oklahoma City Thunder, which, again, I've been talking about this defense since September. Not hard to see what they were going to become. And now this was the scare, I think. I anticipate they'll go clear Minnesota out relatively easily. I expect that to be a 5-game series, then likely a sweep of whatever comes out of the Eastern Conference. So ultimately, just you have to take your hat off, I think, for the Nuggets to get this into a 7th game, because this 7th game really showed what it was really all about, what their team was really all about this year. Not good, just abysmal on many, many fronts. And for them to even get this Thunder team into a 7th game, credit to the Nuggets, but credit needs to be given to Oklahoma City too, both good and bad. Credit to the Thunder for keeping the Nuggets in this series. Credit to the Thunder for allowing the Nuggets to get it into a 7th game, because they choked away multiple games in this series, in my opinion. And they really just played down to the opposition. But when they really had to, they stepped up, flexed their muscle, like I said, in Game 2 and Game 7, and ultimately down the stretch in Game 5 too, when they really needed to have it in the fourth quarter, rather. Really just showed how much better they are, how much what a glaring discrepancy it is. And like I said, I expect them to now easily go on and do what I expected them to easily do at the beginning of the season. This team was 2nd in net differential last year, 2nd in SRS last year. They got much better in the offseason with the signings of Hartenstein and Caruso. Just look at how big both of those players were tonight, Hartenstein and Caruso, and what big game changers and difference makers they ultimately were tonight and throughout the series. And just the natural aging and maturation process that the team went through because of how young they were last year, kind of choking their second-round series away last year against Dallas. So, I think this is just the natural maturation process of them. It was pretty clear to see how good this team was going to be. They're the all-time leader in net differential by a staggering 7 or 8 tenths of a point. Every other team in the top 6 won the championship easily all time, and they only lost 3 games total in the playoffs. So, they lost 3 games in this series somehow to a team that fired its coach and general manager a week before the playoffs began, and a team that I think the writing is on the wall that there needs to be some significant turnover here. We could take a look maybe about what's going on in the future with this roster, kind of prognosticate some moves with what potentially can be changed going forward in this series, from this series, rather, moving on. Again, I mean, I guess the only criticism maybe you can level at Nikola Jokic is he needs to somehow, through triple teams against like maybe 3 top 15 defenders league wide, all committed to him. They put Caruso on him, extended a lot, and then would have just 2 guys ready at Caruso's back when Jokic got through. But I guess you could say you got to force more than 9 shots maybe, but it's hard with a guy that sees the court so well, is so unselfish, makes the right plays. It's difficult when you see guys just wide open, not to move the ball and make those plays. But I guess maybe you got to just force it, just shoot 30 times, and then whatever it is, I suppose. But ultimately, you need to find a way to get him out of triple teams. At least viable guys that can make, I don't know, like 35, 40% of their looks in these given situations. So I don't know. There's not much from a cap standpoint. It's going to have to be some kind of trades. Unfortunately, they don't really have many trade or draft assets that they could use really to incentivize people to take some of these just terrible contracts off of their hands. I'm just looking at it now in totality for the series. Nikola Jokic, 28 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists per game on 48% shooting. The series end statistics for him. So 28, 14, and 6 on 48%. Jamal Murray, 21 points per game on 40% shooting from the field. Aaron Gordon, 13 points per game on 44%. Christian Brown, 12 points per game on 41%. Russell Westbrook, 9 points per game on 35%. Michael Porter Jr., 7 points per game on 32%. So that's your core players right there. Really, they're only rotational players. They pretty much stuck to it, like 6, maybe got a 7th. They got the one Julian Strother game, which was a miracle, obviously. For the series, he averaged 6 points per game. So, yeah, just not sure what direction they could go. We did talk a few nights ago about their contracts situation, what's on the books. We could take a look certainly at that moving forward. I don't know, what direction really the Thunder are going to go after this season. I think it will be a pretty easy championship run for them from here on out. They obviously sweep the Memphis Grizzlies, just obliterated them in the first round. Again, I'm still shocked that this just got 7. I'm really not feeling that distraught. I was really distraught after Game 5, as any of you guys that were here for the aftermath of Game 5 know. That was a really tough night for me, I think, because the Nuggets played so good throughout most of the game. Playoff Jamal showed up. Playoff Jamal was obviously not there tonight. None of the core guys. I do want to just say Aaron Gordon. Shout out to Aaron Gordon, who, look, he did not have a good game tonight. But the fact that he was diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring strain, grade 2. Steph Curry obviously missed the whole week with a grade 1. And there was no indication of when exactly his return would be made. My speculation was that he was not going to play at all in that series. Steph Curry wasn't, with a grade 1. This was worse. This is a grade 2. That's like a 3 to 5 week injury typically. And Aaron Gordon, the soldier, the warrior that he is, shout out to AG, because he gave everything he had in this game. This dude played 24 minutes, could barely move out there. He only scored 8 points. He had 11 rebounds, scrapping his ass off on one leg. Just an absolute valiant effort from Aaron Gordon, but clearly limited, clearly hampered, clearly not right. But he had 8 points tonight. And this is the sad thing, as we see this this iteration of the Denver Nuggets, I think, at an end. I think one of these main players will be moved in the offseason. We can get into speculation of how or who that might be a little bit later on here in the show. But the fact that Nikola Jokic, look, people are going to say he didn't show up. He's scored 20 points on, 20 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He had basically 17 points at halftime when the game ended. He had 17 points and like 4 or 5 assists at halftime when the game was over. He has like subpar talent, like basically barely an NBA team, it looks like at times around him. When another team is absolutely daring you to give it to literally anybody else, like you put just 3 dudes on and just absolutely suffocate and mug this guy for every second of the game he's on the court. And credit to the Thunder, because other teams try to do this and they just don't have the personnel, even with 3 or 4 guys or 2 or 3 guys on Jokic. They just simply don't have the personnel to limit Jokic to whatever degree the Thunder were able to do it. Look, you say it, whatever kind of limitations it is when you average 30, 15, and 6 on 48% shooting. I guess that's limiting, but still, the Thunder did a great job in limiting him in this series because they have great personnel. Yes, sure, no one player could stop him. Maybe no 2 players can stop him on this team. But when you're routinely committing like 2 really on the hard double and then a 3rd roamer on this guy, and all of the myriad of wide open looks that this team was dared to make throughout the series and failed. I mean, it's just hard to say that he didn't show up. It's also hard to say that Aaron Gordon didn't show up because there's no way he should have been playing. Like, Aaron Gordon should be out for the rest of the playoffs with the diagnoses of that hamstring. So there's nothing negative to be said about him. Look, Michael Porter Jr., 3 of 8, 6 points tonight. He entered this game 7 points per game on 31% shooting for, $35, $36 million per year. And then Jamal Murray has been good he's been good for most of the playoffs. I don't want to really destroy Jamal Murray to that degree. I don't want to come on here and bury him. Jamal Murray he's overrated. People give him too much credit. The Nuggets organization gave him too much money, but he's a playoff riser, and he most of the time is there, and you can count on him when you really need it. Tonight was not one of those nights. For the game, 6 of 16 shooting, 13 points, but a lot of that came in garbage time. In the first half, when this game was really being decided, 2 of 7 for 4 points. So, in the first half, when this game was really being decided, Jokic, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 8 shooting. And Jamal Murray, playoff Jamal, 2 of 7, 4 points. So, a lot of those, he ended 6 of 16 for 16 points. That was pretty much pure garbage time for Jamal. So, really just a really total inept and putrid team effort, I think, tonight. And just the total team effort by the Oklahoma City Thunder. Deserving series win for, again, a lot of people will say, me being one of them, that the Thunder were choking in this series. They looked unprepared for this moment throughout portions of the series. But that's not who this team has been all season. The team that we saw in game 1 and game 6, that's not the team. This team tonight is the team that has been on showcase all season long, the team I expected to see throughout these playoffs. And I think the team that we will see the remainder of the way in them winning what's going to be the first of many NBA championships to come, in my estimation. This will just be the first of many, I think, in the next look. It's hard to see out. It's hard. Things change quickly in the landscape of sports, not just the NBA, but in all sports. Things can change very fast. But in the next 5-ish years, if we're looking at things within half-decade spans of time, I think I see 3 or 4 championships coming over the next 5 years for the Oklahoma City Thunder, beginning with this year. So nothing really that I don't think should have been expected in this game for this series. You know, a lot of people will slither in here into the live stream, and we can get into some questions and comments here. I see we have some of those super chat thingies have already trickled in, so thank you all. If you are just joining us here, it is you know, I've gone long here on the lead in. It's about 25 minutes in here on Scap Live After Dark. We are tucking the Denver Nuggets to bed for the season. Their season ends and their off season of uncertainty will now begin. Whereas the Final Four in the NBA is now set. We've got Timberwolves, Thunder on the West, and we've got Pacers and Knicks on the East. So we can get into that, maybe look ahead to some of those games. We got a couple of days. I think we have one day off. Tuesday night will be the West game, and Wednesday night will be the East game, and they'll do an alternation thing the rest of the way for that. So we could talk about that. But if you are just joining us, I am Scap, your host. We've got moderator Gary on board now here as well. Yeah, as I was going to say, and then we can take some questions here, Gary, and welcome to you. But people will slither in here on the comment section, no doubt. Trolls, losers, know nothing scrubs, people that are, I would say, either uneducated or unintelligent. And we can get into the differential between what I'm talking about with the unintelligent and the uneducated. We can break that down and exactly what I'm talking about. People that will come in and bury Nikola Jokic. People that will come in and make some kind of a grand commentary about his career based on either last season, this season, whatever, just essentially the entirety of his playoff runs, I think. And these people that do that it's one of the two, possibly both, either unintelligent or uneducated. So I will do my best to educate those of you who are uneducated. Therefore, if you still have an issue after that, we can just then therefore characterize you as unintelligent.
Scap, you're not going to be able to live this down. Listen, Jokic faced a historic defense in a game 7 today. He had the most horrific game of his career. No triple-double. He only had 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. He was so far away from a triple-double. He's terrible, Scap. Take everything back.
In 3 quarters, mind you. 29 and 7 in 3 quarters. And realistically, again, this game was over at halftime. The first quarter, like I went into this game, I said last game in the Scap Live After Dark that I was expecting nothing more, nothing less than a 35-point beating in game 7. I got it. The first quarter, so I had no hope going into this game. But in the first quarter, I was like, yo, the Thunder might actually be up to the task of choking this series away. And then it went bad immediately when Jokic went to the bench. I think the tides turned like in that 90 seconds, basically. But then it was like a 1-point game with like 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. And I said to myself, like, they need to close. They need to be under like 8. They need to be down by 8 or less at halftime. And they just couldn't hold it. And again, it was one of those game 5 type situations. Jokic in game 5 in the fourth quarter was 4 of 6 for 13 points in that quarter. The rest of his team was 1 of 15 as they blew that game 5 in the fourth. And then the second quarter tonight where the game was lost, Jokic was 10 points on 3 of 5. The rest of the team was 3 of 15 for 6 points tonight in that second. So that was really when it all went down. It was bad from there. I honestly was not home. That's why, by the way, I'm delayed coming on again, any of you troll, uneducated, or unintelligent, or both people in there saying I'm hiding or scared or don't want to come on. Not the case. I was not home. This game played at 3:30 on Sundays. I have Sunday obligations every Sunday that I cannot be home. But I watched the whole first half. About halfway through halftime, I decided I needed to walk my dog, even though I knew I would not be back for the start of the fourth quarter or the third quarter. But the game was already over. I already knew the game was over at halftime. When I came back, there was like 2.5 minutes gone. There was like 9:40 left still in the third, and it had gone to it was like a 22-point deficit. So the route was just on from there. And anyone, I have to imagine that the uneducated, unintelligent losers that might be in here trolling, They either don't watch these games at all, or again, they're unintelligent or uneducated. But I would imagine they're not watching the games at all. Like, you could not watch this game and not see a absolutely stark, glaring, and obvious talent differential. Like, the one team had literally every player on the other team was better than any player on the Nuggets. It was just startling to see. And it was, as the reason it's so startling is because this should have been a sweep. This series should have unequivocally been a sweep. I am shocked that it got 7. It truly would have been one of the biggest upsets ever had the Nuggets pulled this thing off. Just getting it to a 7th game was truly startling. But Gary, we've got some of these super chat things in. Some people here in the Scap Live Lounge After Dark. I know it's a little delayed after the game, a couple hours after that went down. So sorry I couldn't get on here immediately following, but happy to be with you guys here. We could discuss. I would like to discuss maybe the Nuggets moving forward. We'll have another probably month to talk about the Thunder or however long. I don't think they'll be playing that many games over the next month. I think they'll play maybe 9 total games over the next month. Like I said, I'm thinking 5 for the Timberwolves and 4 for the Eastern representative. But they'll be in the news at least for the next month or so. This will be kind of the last, I'll put like some kind of a video out about them, the Nuggets, over the next day or two, maybe 2 videos over the next day or two. But other than that, this will probably be kind of the last time we talk about them till next year. So kind of just would like to look at their outlook maybe and then discuss Nikola Jokic. I think the outlook for him, what his career kind of looks like right now, what point, from a legacy standpoint, what we're looking at. And then I would like to educate the uneducated and unintelligent people in here. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, we can get into that after we dig into some of these questions and comments. Let's begin with my girl, Stephanie. She's a big supporter of the Scap Live After Dark area. She's here in the lounge pretty much every night. So welcome into you, Stephanie. Many thanks for yet again showing up to commiserate with me. She's usually in here trying to cheer me up after the Nuggets go down in flames. So what does Stephanie have for us tonight, Gary?
Well, she wants me to be calm right now, so I'll read this in my calm tone for her. Cavs out, Nuggets out. Now my interest in these playoffs is gone. The only team I would want winning would be the Knicks, but I think is far-fetched.
Yeah, Stephanie, I think, I think I'm rooting. If I had to pick one team of the 4 remaining that I would like to see win, I think it would be the Knicks. I think I am rooting for New York. One of the true, meccas, so to speak. They call New York the Mecca, the basketball Mecca. However, they haven't won an NBA championship since the 1970s. They haven't been in the NBA finals this century. So it was the 50-game strike-shortened season of 1999 when the San Antonio Spurs and young Tim Duncan, 22-year-old Tim Duncan, won his first of 5 NBA championships, beating the Knicks in the 1999 NBA Finals. So it hasn't been 26 years since they've even been there. I'm old as hell, and it's been well before my lifespan since they've won last. So I think I am rooting for the Knicks. I also like Jalen Brunson. He's got that dog in him. I'm a big fan of his. So, a smaller, underrated, scrappy kind of player to me, unheralded, kind of scrappy player, fringe first team All-NBAer though this year, in my opinion. Definitely second team at worst. But yeah, I think gun to my head, I'm picking I want the Knicks. But look, I picked the Thunder a month before the season began. A month. You can go find the video in September on my channel where I said that the Thunder would easily win this championship and it would be the start of a dynasty. I was all over this, 8 months ago. And here we are. So, while I would like to see the Knicks, I don't even know if they can get by the Pacers. And if they do, it's going to be an absolute buzzsaw. Oklahoma City is just going to take them apart. But thank you, Stephanie. And even though you have no interest in the playoffs at all anymore, hopefully you keep checking in with us here at the SCAP After Dark Lounge from time to time. I will plan on, I'm going to keep doing this, I think, through the end of the playoffs as much as I possibly can, even though, the Nuggets are out, obviously. People identify me as either a LeBron hater or a Jokic lover. Both are out. But I just like basketball. I just follow the whole league. So I'll be talking hoops here moving forward. Hope you guys will still join us after tonight. But thank you, Stephanie, so
your
much.
take was way off, Scap. You're going to be so disappointed. I have to fact check you. Tim Duncan was actually 23 when he won the championship. A fresh 23, turned 23 in April, and then won it in June. So you were off by 2 months, Scap. I'm disappointed in you. I thought you knew your basketball.
It was his aged 22 season, though, since he was 22 and it started. But okay, let's see. Isaac, we've got another regular here. Isaac, welcome back in. Many thanks for being here in the SCAP Live After Dark Lounge. And Gary, what does Isaac have for us?
Send Michael Porter Jr. to the G League and get to the G League with Bronny. Is he that bad? Is he on Bronny's level? And get Jokic more help.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. It's hard to say. I mean, he hurt his shoulder. Quite frankly, he hurt his shoulder being a scrub in the Clippers series. They blew a game in that series. They were tied with under a minute to go in that game. I think game 4 maybe. They were tied in that game with under a minute to go. Looked like they were going to win that game. The Clippers missed a shot. Porter Jr. rebounded the ball and was matriculating the ball down the court. He should have just given it up immediately, scrub that he is. But he kept the ball, was dribbling it up himself, hurt his shoulder somehow, fell to the ground, was rolling around holding his shoulder, and then the turned it over. And the Clippers came down and hit a 3 off of his turnover to go up 3 with under a minute, which ended that game, and the Clippers ended up winning that game. And then since that event, that turnover, his shoulder's been hurt. So, I mean, clearly a shell of himself. As bummish as Michael Porter Jr. is, he ain't 7 points per game on 30% shooting bummish under normal standards. So under normal circumstances. So he was hurt bad, I think, but still, yes. Nearly 40 mil a year for 7 points on 31% shooting from the field it's just incredible, Isaac. But that's just what this team has been primarily in the Nikola Jokic era. It's just been a series of near misses, bad timing, bad luck. And that's what it is. That's what it's been. And we'll be through it. I want to get to these super chats now. I don't want to let them get too far behind like I typically do. But I will be educating some people on here. I will be, again, educated, the uneducated, and the unintelligent. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to give you all a history lesson. So stay tuned for that once we get through these remaining super chats. And we've got Types He.
He's back to back. He's on the next one.
He was back to back, and Type She is a typical member here in the SCAP Live After Dark area. So many thanks to you, Type She, and welcome in. Gary, what's the first one of 2 in a row that Type She has for us?
Wish the Nuggets would have moved on. Shaking my head.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been it would have been miraculous. It would have needed, again, you needed one other person, is the problem. Like, Nikola Jokic has had big games in this series, but he needs at least one guy to relieve some of the triple coverages that he's taking. So whenever at least there was one guy, and look, credit to the Nuggets. There were some games where it was multiple guys, like last game. Murray and Brown showed up, and Strother. But again, how much credit should we be giving these guys for making wide open shots that Nikola Jokic is bestowing upon them by having 2 and 3 people on him the entire game? Are we really crediting you for making wide open shots when you guys are making multi-million dollars to play in the NBA? I guess that's the bar that we've set for the Denver Nuggets and for the role players. Make wide open shots is all we're asking of you. And look, in some games, multiple guys showed up in this series. In other games, one guy showed up. And Nikola Jokic played very, very well in the games where multiple people or one guy showed up. In the other games, like, it just looked bad because there's no incentive to get off of him. There's no incentive to spread out the defenders at all. So it just is what it is. It would have taken either one guy out of his mind tonight, like playoff Jamal showing up, which he didn't, or like Russell Westbrook. By the way, Russell Westbrook, we didn't even get into him. I was calling upon Russell Westbrook from the basketball gods to have a massive game tonight. They needed it because Michael Porter Jr. is not right. Aaron Gordon's not right. You need Russell Westbrook, former league MVP. Lot of shit talked about him in the offseason. People making him a punchline for like the last 3 or 4 years. He's now coming back to Oklahoma City, the place where it all started. The team that discarded him didn't want him. And I thought this was just going to be a legacy game for Russ, or I thought that it had to be for them to have a shot. 2 of 7 tonight for 6 points. So, I mean, just bad all the way around, Jokic. Primarily, this is what we see. I mean, Nikola Jokic has played in 16 series in the playoffs right now, and 7 of them have gone to a game 7, which is hard to believe. I think I saw earlier today, like, LeBron James has played in 8 game 7s in 55 series in his career. I don't know how many game 7s Michael Jordan played in. I think it was like 4. Some of this is just indicative of like the Nuggets just aren't that good. Like they have no separation from anybody. Jokic is really the only advantage they ever have. Like most of these series are just tight, close games. They're typically outdone by substantially better teams. Jokic is just a great floor riser. He makes them look better throughout the regular season than they actually are. And when they get into these settings against much better teams, they typically are getting exposed and demolished. I mean, last year, look, they lost game 7. It wasn't a 30-point loss like they had tonight, but it was a 30-point turnaround in that game. You know, they were up 20 and then they fell apart in the second half. Jokic had 16 points in the second half. I'm sorry, he had 21 points in the second half of game 7 last year against Minnesota. He had 21 points. The rest of his team had 16. So like this team, the role players, the supporting cast just fall apart around him. They're prone to do it against significantly better teams, which is what they see in this stage of the playoffs. So, you know, it is what it is. But with that said, if the team could ever be healthy, they would be winning multiple championships. But again, we can go through that when I give my history lesson to the uneducated and the unintelligent. But first, what's next from Type She, Gary?
Jokic getting locked up by Alex Caruso is crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think, look, for anyone who didn't watch the game, I don't know. I think ESPN was slobbering on Caruso at halftime. Look, I'm 6'3", 6'3", like 185-ish pounds right now. I almost said 200 because I'm usually a little bit thicker, but right now I'm about 6'3", 185. I could guard Jokic 100% right now with the strategy that Oklahoma City deployed on him tonight. So like I'm really like, people giving Alex Caruso credit is nuts. First of all, Alex Caruso was first team All NBA defense last year. He was second team All NBA defense this year. He was he's second last year in point of attack defense. He's one of the very best defenders in the NBA, but he is much smaller than Nikola Jokic. However, when you just essentially tell him, hang all over Jokic, like hang all over him, slap him, grab his jersey, like just try to deny him the ball, like push him out as far as you can to like 18 feet. If he somehow gets the catch, which they were turning the ball over like crazy tonight, trying to get it into him. But if he makes the catch, he's going to obviously just throw you aside and try to back you underneath. But at that point, don't sweat it, because we have we have Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein literally just camping out like on either side of the paint, like back at the basket, waiting to like triple and converge on him anytime he gets underneath. And if it was only one of those two guys, Chet or Isaiah, then you would have some other like top 5 net rated defender guard like Lou Dort or someone, or Shea, like cutting him off on the back end. Like, it's really not hard. Like I said, I just tell me to like hang on his body and try to push him like out to 16, 17, try to deny the catch. Then once he catches it on me, no sweat. I have 2 7-foot, like top 5 net rated defenders ready to pinch and double him on the way. And then nobody making threes around him. So not really a surprise at all. Again, I speculated going in the game. They've done it all series. They have dared anybody else to beat them. Anybody. And it's somehow the Nuggets have, they have made some shots and they somehow did win a couple games in this series. But ultimately, when push came to shove in game 7 on the road, none of these guys showed up. None of these guys were making shots. So really not difficult to take when it's just one guy, not difficult to take one guy out. BRKA, Brecca or BRK, I'm not sure how we're saying that, is in now. Many thanks to you for coming in here. I don't really recognize the new handle. So welcome into the lounge. Thanks for being here. And Gary, what is the question or comment here?
What is your opinion on other Serbian NBA players?
I mean, look, we saw Serbia in the summer games in the Olympics this past summer. We saw them nearly beat Team USA. I think they outplayed Team USA. It's like 40-minute games. I think they outplayed Team USA for like 38 minutes of the 40. They were up for like 38 minutes of the 40. But again, like ultimately, Nikola Jokic is the best floor riser I've ever seen. The best floor riser I've seen in basketball history. I'm not saying he's the greatest player ever. He's, to me, one of the probably handful 2 most valuable players I've ever seen, because he can bring you so close to beating these so much better teams. He just can't, like, obviously, like they just ran out of steam in the U.S. Like they run out of steam in Denver these last 2 years in game 7s against the better teams. But I think there's no Nikola Jokic's out there from Serbia, but they have many serviceable and very solid NBA players and NBA contributors over there. Actually, there's this kid, what's his name? Nikola like Topas or something like that. That he was basically hurt all year. I think he tore a ligament in his knee, like somewhere around the draft. But I think maybe the Thunder might have drafted him, to be honest with you. Let me see. Yes, Nikola Topic is on the Thunder. I really liked him coming out of the draft. And I think he's going to be a good player moving forward. And so whenever he comes back healthy, the Thunder have another great young player, I think, at their disposal. So I mean, they won a medal. They won the bronze game in the summer. I think they were just so close to winning the gold. I think they would have ultimately won the gold had they held on and beat USA. There was some outrageous like 6-point play in that game. Like the Serbians were up like all game. And then I think Kevin Durant hit a 3 and there was some kind of a screen violation. The 3 counted. They then gave them a technical free throw for the screen violation. And they made the free throw. Then they made another Then they got the ball back off of the free throw, and then they made another basket. So it went from like Serbia was up 8 to like up 2 in like the span of 30 seconds because of that play. I think had it not been for that play, Serbia actually would have won that game and won the gold medal. So a great country with great players. Obviously there is though only one Nikola Jokic, but great question. Just the Messenger is in. Just the Messenger is always around my channel and on these lives. So thanks to you and welcome in here. What does Just the Messenger have for us, Gary?
If it wasn't for garbage time, Denver would have suffered the biggest Game 7 blowout in history, which is 40. They settled for the 7th worst instead.
Yeah, when Nikola Jokic went out of the game, I think they had like 72 points or something like that. So they end up getting like 93 in the like last whatever remaining portions of the fourth quarter, which was pure garbage time. Jokic went out of the game with like 9 minutes left or something like that in the fourth quarter. Alman left them in, left all the starters in to start the fourth. They were down like 25 or 27, something like that at the end of 3. And he left them in to see if they could make any kind of a push. They didn't. And then Alman swiftly pulled them with like 9.5 to go. At that point, the Nuggets had, I think, like 73 or 74 points. So yeah, that's a lot of garbage points, a lot of garbage time on the back end. Just the messenger. So yeah, they got absolutely waxed in this game, and it's just befitting of the differential. Again, the talent discrepancy on this. Nothing surprising, honestly. The surprise to me is that they got it to game 7. So good point though. Thanks for the tidbit there, Justin Messenger. Cusmo Jimbo in, another regular here. What do we got from Cusmo Jimbo?
25 freaking years, a lifetime sentence ago, since my Knicks were last in the Eastern Conference Finals. OMG, we're so back. The Garden gonna go nuts.
Yeah, the Garden will be bumping on Wednesday night. They're 4.5-point favorites now, preliminarily installed by Vegas, and I think they're gonna win. I think they are gonna win the East. It's gonna be a tough series. I think I could see that going 7. But the Garden will be going nuts in game 7. And I think ultimately the Nuggets are going to pull it off. Indiana's an underrated team, I think, at this point. They've got a lot of depth. And I think they've when they're firing at all cylinders, they're a really good offensive team. But I like what the Knicks have going for them right now. They smell like that team of destiny to win the East, that is, and then get swept probably by the Thunder. But kudos to the Knicks on a great year, and I'll be keeping a close eye on them throughout this next round. So good luck to your Knickerbockers there, Cusmo Jimbo.
Jay, hang on. So you think the Knicks after the Nuggets, after, like you said, you don't think they're a very good team. They took the Thunder to 7. You don't think the Knicks could win 1 to 2 games against?
No, I don't think so.
You think the Nuggets are that much better than the Knicks?
Yeah, honestly, I think they were that much better than the Nuggets. I think, look, Jokic will neutralize a lot of the advantages at times. He'll have these crazy games like game 1, he had a crazy game. Games 5 and 6, he was incredible. So like he can just do these games. He can have these games. And then because you have to devote so much attention to him, it's quite probable that the supporting players will have like sparse moments where they look like really good players. And then conversely, so all that was going on for the Nuggets, and the Thunder were just choking. Like they were just in their head. They were playing down. They were getting confused by the zone throughout much of the series. I just think like this was the scare. They got over it. Look, these teams, these historical all-time net differential teams, before this year, where now it's the Thunder by like a lot, the number 1 team ever. Before, these were the teams in order, Gary. The number 1 record holder for net differential all time, 72 Lakers, 71 Bucks next, 95 Bulls, the 72 win team, the 2016-17 Warriors after that, the Kevin Durant team, the first year of the Kevin Durant team with the Warriors. Then 5th was another Bulls team, I believe, the team that won 68 or 69 games. And then last year's Boston Celtics are 6th all time in differential. So like, look at those teams I just rattled off. They not only all won the title, they dominated the playoffs. Like they all lost like 3 total games. So like, look, I'm shocked that they lost 3 games in a series, but that's about it. Like they swept the first round. I think they'll win in 5 in this next one, and then I think they'll sweep the NBA final. So I mean, we'll see. Maybe they prove me wrong, but I think they survived their scare, and it is what it is at this point. But yeah, still nonetheless, Cusmo Jimbo, great. Congratulations on a great year for your Knicks. Justin Messenger is now back in. What do we got from Justin Messenger?
We have a 3 in 4 chance a team wins its first ring. Yeah, or the first in like 50 years. So first in 50 years. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, who?
Timberwolves, Pacers, and Thunder have never won it, and the Knicks haven't won it in over 50 years.
True. Now wait a second. Hang on.
There's going to be a new champion in our lifetime, and
hang on.
Why? Who do you think won it?
This is fake news now. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the precursor. They were the Supersonics. So that this team moved from Seattle, and they won an NBA championship in 1979. So their franchise actually has won a championship, but I guess that in Oklahoma City they haven't. But but yeah, and that was 1979. So that was a long time ago. And just to get, I know the Knicks haven't won since the 70s. But just to put a bow on that, 70 and 73 is the official years that they have not won since. So yeah, it's going to be a team that hasn't won shit in a really, really long time. So congratulations to all 4 teams that are here at this point. We've got Type She back in. I'm sorry, Type She, I jumped you. What do we got here, Type She?
Who you got in game 8, Scap? Jokic going to clutch up.
There is no game 8. So it's hard. Look, Jokic, he had 20 points and 9 rebounds, 7 assists on 5 of 9 shooting. Like, okay, like look, like 3 guys on him all game long. He shot 9 times. Like, these guys are getting wide open shots, missing all game long. Peyton Watson 1 of 8. Julian Strawther 3 of 8. Russell Westbrook 2 of 7. Jamal Murray 6 of 16. Michael Porter Jr. 3 of 8. Like, I'm not sure. It's hard to clutch up when you have 3 guys on you and you have teammates wide open all over the floor and they're just missing every single shot they take. So, and you can't even get post entries into him basically because there's so many people hanging all over him. So, again, these are the unintelligent and uneducated narratives that I'm talking about, Type She. So many thanks to you for being here. Many thanks to you for supporting me here with your continued generosity in the Scap Live After Dark Lounge. But you are just presenting me with the uneducated and unintelligent takes. I don't know which one you would fall under, but we can figure out in a couple minutes once I address some of these narratives. I'll be caught up here on these momentarily, and I'll take you uneducated and unintelligent individuals on a little history lesson. And hopefully then at least moving forward, if you are just uneducated, you can at least be educated. So if you are an intelligent person, you will have the knowledge. You will have the information. Knowledge, as we know, is power. You will have the power to not be an idiot anymore once I give you the information, unless you are just a straight fool and unintelligent. And then because once you have the knowledge that I'm about to bestow upon you, the only way you can go about these stupid takes would be as if you are stupid. So they will transcend stupid takes, and you will just become a stupid person if you continue the narratives. So here we go. Let's get through here, and then I'll do Scap. We'll get on the pulpit. I will put the lecture cap on, and I will inform all of you guys why I will continue to defend Nikola Jokic till my last breath. But first, Sully's Tech Hub. Welcome in, Sully. You are a continued sponsor here, a big supporter. I was on, for those of you who do not know, in the past, before I was ever doing these live streams on my own channel, I was doing about 2 to 3 hour live streams on Sunday from noon till around 2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast in the US of A, where I'm at here, with a team called MJFB. And I have not been on that for about 3 or 4 months because the moderator and the host of that platform has been away in Asia off book for about 3.5 months. Today, he returned, and today I was on that show for about 2.5 hours, and Sully's Tech Hub was on the whole show, giving us donations there too. And now Sully is on tonight, and I see others of you who were on both of those lives. He was on the live stream earlier as well. So many thanks to you guys. You're spending like probably 5-6 hours with me, all told today here. So many thanks to you guys for coming back out again today to get on here with me and your continued support and generosity. Gary, what does Sully have for us?
You pretty much predicted the flow of the game earlier in that live stream. Shocked to see Mr. Hustly Muscly suit up and play. I wish Jokic would request a trade, but he's too damn loyal for that.
Yeah, I said in that live stream we were talking, and I legitimately said the Nuggets would likely lose by 30 points because I just didn't think that the young players were going to travel enough. And I thought with the I thought Jamal Murray was going to show up, honestly, tonight. He didn't. Again, I'm not going to bury Jamal Murray for that. He's had a good passable playoff run. I think he was very good in some stretches, mediocre in others. Overall, I think he was a decent second option in this playoff run. Way better than last year. Way better. But with Gordon getting hurt, and I knew if he tried to play, I knew he'd be extremely limited. He was. And Michael Porter Jr., him being very, very limited due to injury. I knew that they were going to have to get these young guys to show up, or Russell Westbrook. The probability of Julian Strawther and Christian Brown going ballistic for 2 straight games, including one on the road in a game 7, was substantially unlikely to me. And Russell Westbrook, asking him, this guy, I mean, he's been terrible shooting in this whole series. So, I do just want to check and see what Russ was for the whole series. So hang tight, stay with me here while I get back to the entire series. I just want to see Russ was for the series. He averaged 10 points per game, did Russ for the series, but on 34% shooting from the field. And he had one really, really good game in this series where he had like 21 points or something like that in one game of the series. So when you really take that away, really a subpar series for him, and particularly the last 4-5 games straight he shot under 30% for the last 4 straight games now, cumulatively. So I just thought the probability is very low for any of those things to happen. And then knowing that none of those things were going to happen. Yes. When you can put 2 or 3 top 15 defenders league wide on Nikola Jokic. Yes. And nobody else is doing anything. This is what it's going to look like. Really not a surprise. So that's why I said this morning that I was expecting a 30-point blowout. That's why I said after game 6, when I came on here, I was expecting a 30-point blowout. So yeah, I've been calling it. We've got CP in from Malaysia next. CP is always here from Malaysia. So CP, welcome in from Malaysia. Many thanks to you for being here. And what is the question or comment here?
Yeah, quick side note. It took a historic great defense from the Thunder to shut Jokic down. It only took JJ Barrera to shut LeBron down in 2011. Just a side note there. Okay, so I stopped watching the game during halftime. I knew they were done after that point. I only wish they'd get Bruce Brown back in the offseason. How many times have I said that, Scott?
Yeah, Gary, just to put a bow on your point, though, about the LeBron 2011 finals, 17 points per game, 7 rebounds, 6.5 assists for him on 47% shooting in that series. So Jokic in this series also shot 47%, but he scored 29 points per game or whatever, 28, 29 points per game. So 15 rebounds and 6 assists. So yeah, exactly. But yes, great point, CP. Great point, Gary. They just need more reliably consistent players off the bench. It's this year. The Denver Nuggets had the 22nd. I went over this on the live stream today for any of you that saw it. So I apologize for the redundancy, but the Denver Nuggets this year had the 22nd ranked bench in the NBA in the regular season. That's net rated bench, 22 ranked. They were 25th in scoring benches league-wide. But just to go by the net rating, they were 22nd. These were the teams beneath them in terms of net rated benches. The Philadelphia 76ers, San Antonio Spurs, Brooklyn Nets, Toronto Raptors, New Orleans Pelicans, Charlotte Hornets, Utah Jazz, Washington Wizards. What's the thing that readily jumps out about all of those teams? Not one of them made the playoffs. So when you look at the teams above the Nuggets, just above them, again, 22 in terms of bench play this year, the Portland Trail Blazers just above them, Atlanta Hawks and Dallas Mavericks. What's the thing that jumps out about those teams? None of them made the playoffs. So the Nuggets had by far the worst bench in the NBA that qualified for the playoffs. Once they got into the playoffs, they were the 13th net rated bench in the NBA playoffs. The only 3 teams beneath them, Memphis, Orlando, and Miami, all of them out in the first round. Total combined, they won 1 game between them. So the Nuggets bench is absolutely ass. And they basically, look, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon played in this game, but they didn't really play. Like, Aaron Gordon was averaging 17 points per game in the playoffs and 7 rebounds coming into the game and shooting like 40% from the 3-point line. He scored, 8 points tonight. Michael Porter Jr. in the regular season was averaging 17 points per game on nearly 50% shooting. In this series, he averaged 7 points on 30% shooting. Like, they didn't really play. Like, they were so absolutely limited due to injury. So you have the shallowest team in the playoffs by far, the worst bench in the playoffs by far, and 2 of the 4 best players essentially not really available due to hampering injuries. So like what do you exactly expect? This a 30-point loss, and again, it's a miracle it went to 7. Kuzmo Jimbo is back in. Thank you, Kuzmo Jimbo, for coming back in for supporting us here in the Scap Live Lounge. Gary, what does Kuzmo have for us this time?
I think he's got a good one to contribute here. Jokic and the Nuggets took the best team in the NBA to 7 games. LeBron and the Lakers got mopped as the 3 seed in the first round by the Wolves in 5 games. You Bron stands in here are delusional.
Yeah, we're going to see how good the Timberwolves are. They've been resting. This is a Thunder team's coming off a 7-game series. They're going to get 1 day off. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be a very competitive series. I think like I've been saying, the Thunder in 5, maybe it'll get to 6. I don't think so. Definitely, I don't see this thing going 7. No way. But we'll see. So we'll see what the team that gentlemen swept the Lakers, who were favored. The Lakers were favored significantly in that series. They were favored in most of the games of that series. The Nuggets were 11.5-point underdog, or the 10.5-point underdogs in game 1, 11.5-point underdogs in game 2, 6.5-point underdogs in both games 3 and 4, 9.5-point underdogs in game 5, 6.5-point underdogs in game 6, and 9.5-point underdogs today. Like, they weren't even close to being even remotely considered a favorite in any one game in this series. So the Lakers were supposed to win that series. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the team that just pummeled them out of the playoffs, what they do now against this Thunder team. I don't think.
So Jay, let me clarify. Let's ask a question here. You would say, had the Nuggets advanced and beat OKC, who do you think would have won between the Nuggets and Wolves?
Honestly, I think if Aaron Gordon injury didn't happen, I think the Nuggets would have won that series.
Okay.
But look, Aaron Gordon, that again is a 3 to 5 week injury. I just
right.
So with basically, again, the bench is what it is. Like what I just outlined, they're the worst team. They're the worst bench in the playoffs by a lot.
Right.
And then you basically take out 2 of their 4 best players. I mean, I don't see any way. Again, they probably would have went 7 with Minnesota, 6 or 7, but I think Minnesota would have won that series.
You don't think their length is going to give OKC any problems at all? Because they've got guys with wide wingspans like McDaniels, Reed, Gobert. You don't think those guys are going to give OKC?
I don't think so. Look, Minnesota they don't close games off well. They're not very clutch, generally speaking. Not this year or last year. They're not good in the clutch and close games. They are prone to turning the ball over. There's some carelessness there. They fall in love with the 3-point line. They stay on the perimeter too much, even though they've got a big team. Like, this is a team that, like, the Lakers didn't even have a center. And they refused to go in, like in that one game, they refused to go underneath. They shot like 48 threes. And Rudy Gobert, that was the game Rudy Gobert had like 28 points and 20 rebounds or something like that. Right. And they still refused. They were still trying to shoot 50 threes. Like, if they try to stay perimeter based and shoot a lot of threes against the Thunder and are turning the ball over and stuff, like the Thunder are going to buzzsaw them right off the floor. So okay. I don't see the Thunder really being very competitive, or I don't see the Timberwolves being very competitive next year, but we'll see. Next, we've got Ninjin with some Scott Foster shade here. Gary, it looks like Ninjin is not a fan of the officiating crew for tonight.
Scott Foster is a bum, but the officiating didn't have anything to do with the outcome of this game.
I mean, look, I'm not going to complain about officiating. I'm just not going to do it. Other than, look, the Lakers have shot over 1,200 more free throws than the team with the next highest discrepancy other than them over the last 3 years. Like, it's undeniable that the league is rigging games for the Lakers. Like, it's just undeniable. But other than that, though, I'm not going to complain about officiating. But, like, look, if you allow the Thunder to just literally grab and bear hug and hold Nikola Jokic and, like, bump him and push him and throw him out to 17, 18 feet, then hang on his arms as he's trying to make the catch, then mop him with, like, two other guys, like, I just don't know. Like, to me, yes, a lot of the things that were happening tonight at the point of entry on the entry passes and stuff, like, were fouls. But it just is what it is. Like, ultimately, the more physical team typically gets the advantage and they typically get the benefit of the calls. But, like, Jokic was trying to push them back and body them and belt them around and elbow them and stuff earlier and try to raise to the level of physicality. And he was getting hit early in the series with offensive fouls. He had 5 fouls in the first game. He fouled out with six fouls in the second game. So it's like, I just don't know what he was supposed to do. Like, when he pushes and shoves and stuff, when they're holding and grabbing, he's getting offensive fouls early on, kind of set the tone. I don't know. Like, but again, it is what it is. And even with that, with all of that going on, if the Nugget role players, and basically they're all role players, like, Jamal Murray is not a star player. Like, it's a team of just role players around Nikola Jokic. If the role players would be making wide open shots, the Nuggets would be winning series and moving on throughout the last two playoffs. Like, it just is what it is. So, like, even with what was going on with the grabbing and the holding and all that stuff, it's still, the officials weren't stopping the Nuggets from making the wide open shots that they got all series long. They did that to themselves. Dylan Davis is in next. Dylan, many thanks. Welcome to you to the Scap Live Lounge area. Thank you for your generosity of a sponsorship here for us. And what's the question here?
Oh, my goodness. I don't see this happening. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and 3 first-round picks for Giannis. Yeah, I think the Bucks are going to jump all over that. Yeah, let's get Michael Porter Jr. for Giannis.
Gary, there's only one hope that this trade can go down. I'm going to give it to you right now. If the Milwaukee Bucks hire Calvin Booth as their new general manager this summer, then we can make this trade. We can probably consummate this trade.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's not a hope or a prayer because nobody's taking that ass offer. Next in, we've got South Park GDP. South Park GDP, welcome in. Many thanks to you for joining us here tonight in the Scap Live Lounge, and thank you for sponsoring us. Gary, what does South Park GDP have for us?
In a way, I'm glad the Nuggets didn't move forward. I think they overachieved getting this far. My wife is an OKC fan, hi Jen, and is happy. So good luck to them. Great work, Scap.
Thank you, South Park GDP. And shout out to you, Jen. Congratulations, Jen, to you and to your Oklahoma City Thunder. A very worthy team, a very worthy winner in tonight's game. Obviously, the much better team and a very worthy championship caliber roster. Look, I have nothing against the Thunder team. They're just a great run organization from top to bottom, a great coach, a great star player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, great complementary players, and just they were built the right way. You know, like this is a ground, a homegrown team, a ground roots kind of a team build out. They got Shai via trade, but look, they got Shai via trade because the Clippers just kind of threw him away like a piece of trash whenever Paul George was colluding with Kawhi Leonard and trying to rig a super team in LA. So, a lot of the build out of this team came when Oklahoma City got gutted and backstabbed by that coward bum, Paul George, on his way out. So, Presti there is an absolute legend, a genius, one of the great he's the general manager and president of basketball operations there for Oklahoma City. One of the GOATs in league history, in my opinion. They have never won, though. He has never led a team to a championship, but now he has, to me, a dynasty. So very well deserving. Congratulations, Jen, to you and South Park GDP. Many thanks for coming in here. I do appreciate you. We've got Type She back in with an apology super chat. I guess I misconstrued what he was asking up above when he said, is Jokic going to clutch up in game 8? I guess he was just kind of joshing me there. What does Type She have this time, Gary?
I was joking in the last. Don't know. My bad, Scap.
No problem, Type She. No problem. I know you. Regardless, I know you're here all the time, and I know you are supporting me all the time. So I appreciate you. And while I was not talking to you, I am almost at the bottom of these super chats, and when I get there, we're gonna go on to a little history lesson here. Because while you may not be one of the violators, Type She, I'm sure there's no doubt of the 500 people that are in here right now, and the 2,000 comments we've gotten in the first hour and 15 minutes. I'm sure they are in there, and I am referring to all of you, Jokic hating, unintelligent, or uneducated individuals. It's one of the two or both. We'll get into which one you might be, and we'll fix it moving forward after we get to the bottom of these super chats. But we've got Braca or BRKA back in again. Thank you very much. What's the question or comment on this one, Gary?
Are you noticing some correlation on how the media is treating Djokovic and Jokic? Tennis Joker won it all more than any other player, yet is underrated.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on what these two players have in common. I don't do that type of thing. But I will. While I don't speculate why there's the hatred or why they are. But yes, I do agree. Both of these players are to some degree mistreated, I think, by the mainstream media. And I think they are both underrated. And I think it's just going to be, unfortunately, going to be a running theme for Nikola Jokic. I think that he's won his last championship. We can talk about that when we get into my little dissertation that I'm going to get on here on my soapbox here in a couple minutes. But good point, BRKA. Next, we've got Olympia in. Olympia, thank you for coming in and for sponsoring us here. Welcome in here to the Scap Live After Dark Lounge. Gary, what does Olympia have?
What a season. What a series. I can't be too upset. It was a great time. Can we get a shout out to Aaron Gordon? Considering that this was Westbrook's first season with Denver, should he get a second chance?
Olympia, yeah, I guess you may just be joining us or maybe you missed it. I gave a major shout out to Aaron Gordon. Again, officially diagnosed yesterday. I guess today, actually, pre-tip. He was probably diagnosed 2 days ago, but the news broke today. Grade 2 hamstring strain. That is at the very least 2 weeks. Typical recovery time for that, 3 to 5 weeks, could be as long as 6 or 7 weeks. Substantial risk of significant injury in worsening that injury if you play through it, as in like if you play with it and you tweak it again, it's a tear and then it's 6 months. So for him, look, for Steph Curry, who didn't play at all after he got that grade 1 in game 1, for Aaron Gordon, for this to be a worse injury and a longer recovery timetable, for him to come out in like 40 hours of rest time and give 24 minutes, soldier, warrior. Nothing else can be said about that dude. No bad things. Like the fact that he somehow scored 8 points and got 11 rebounds on one leg today, miraculous performance by him. It looked like in the first quarter, he was really helping will that team to the 5-point lead that they had at the end of one. So yeah, I love AG.
He hit so many game-winning shots that he tore his hamstring.
Yeah, I love AG. He's probably my favorite Nugget outside. My favorite Nugget role player outside. Like I love Jokic, obviously, and AG. I love AG. Love him.
Right.
To me, the most important player outside of Jokic is Aaron Gordon. That's why I knew when the hamstring went for him last game, like when I heard that it was the severity of it today, like that's when I knew, like, typically I'm very nervous in these games. I'm like very nervous in all these games. I felt like a calmness all day today, just because I just thought they had absolutely no chance. Like I thought before the hamstring severity, the severity of the hamstring was known, I thought like maybe a puncher's chance if the hamstring wasn't that bad. But when I heard that, like that was the last nail in the coffin. I think it was still going to take a miraculous performance, obviously, coupled with a choke job by the Thunder. But when AG was out, it was over.
Did you want to address the Westbrook question about?
Oh yeah, Russell Westbrook. Yeah, look, he's got. I'm pretty sure he is signed. I do not think it's a team option. I don't even think it's a player option. I think he's just signed for next year. So, and look, he makes practically no money. I think it's like $3 million a year. For now, I think he's on three next year. Actually, I'm sorry, Russ. It is a player option next year. So Russ, I don't see any way he won't activate that. Nobody wanted him this year, so I don't see any reason he wouldn't activate that. Unless, look, I think Russ either activates that player option or he retires, one or the other. And I think he'll probably activate the option. So he'll be back. And it's, quite frankly, that's a great contract. Like, look, Russ was terrible in this series by and large, but like his energy, his commitment to just giving his all on both sides of the ball. I just have good things to say about Russ. I think he gave his all in this series and for this year. So I think you bring him back at only $3 million. I mean, you've got Dario Saric making 5.5 next year. Zeke Nnaji making 8.5.
Crazy.
Michael Porter Jr. making 38. Christian Brown's only at 4. That's a bargain.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, Deron Holmes, who ruptured his Achilles, he's a rookie. He was a rookie this year. He ruptured his Achilles in preseason and never played. He's making about as much as Russ next year, as is Peyton Watson on a team option. So like Russ's contract is very reasonable. I think Russ will be back next year. And I think, yeah, why not bring him back? Good question, Olympia. And finally, we've got Lester's banana in. And Lester, of course, at the end of Game 6, when he joined us on the SCAP Live lounge area, suggested that if the Nuggets were to have won Game 7, I would have to eat a banana on the live stream, which was a pretty mundane ask, actually, for some of the things I was seeing, suggestions I was getting. So unfortunately, Lester, you're right. There will be no banana consumed on this stream. But many thanks to you for coming in here and for supporting me. I do appreciate it. And now, guys,
did you skip a couple of those? You skipped.
Did I? Oh, I guess I did.
There you go. And you got one
messenger. Just a messenger came in. Did I miss an Olympia one too?
Right under it, but that's after. So go back to just a messenger and then come back to this one.
I feel like we did do this one though from Olympia about the shout out to AG and the Westbrook. Do we bring Westbrook back?
No. This is there's another one. Go down to just a messenger, and then Olympia has another one right after it.
Gotcha. Let's do this one first, actually, because I think just the messengers I'm going to tie in with my little spiel.
It'll be a good
That will be the last one. That will be our last super chat that we have queued up right now.
Okay.
I do realize some more may come in. If you guys do send something in, I appreciate you, and I will get to it at some point. I will never sign off of one of these without acknowledging every single super chat that comes in. But I'll take a break to talk about something that I need to get off of my chest after we finish these last two. But first, Gary, what does Olympia have on this one for us?
Thoughts on Caruso's foul defense on Jokic? Feels like the rules of the NBA are not prepared for Jokic. Centers are not allowed to play like guards with how the league officiates smalls versus bigs.
Yeah. I talked about this a little bit ago, so I'm not sure, Olympia, if you might have missed it. You're just joining us, or maybe you sent this super chat in before I discussed it before. But yeah, like I said, Caruso, the ESPN crew at halftime were slobbering. They were like oiling each other up and just drooling all over Caruso's defense on Jokic. Again, I'm 6'3", 185. I could defend Jokic with the way that Oklahoma City was defending him tonight. Caruso just literally hold him, bump him, scratch, claw, foul the shit out of him until he catches the ball. Then once he catches the ball, two other people come in and triple cover him. Like, that was the defense. So like, if you're going to allow all of the fouling on before the, like during the post entry, and look, there were so many turnovers. I think the Nuggets had 21 or 22 turnovers tonight. There were so many turnovers tonight. Many of them came on post entries to Jokic because the guards were forcing balls into Jokic when he was being fouled. Like, people were just hanging off of one or both of his arms, and he was the ball. They were just turning it over in excess, and or Jokic was just getting ripped apart whenever he caught it. And like, I mean, yeah, like if you're allowing that kind of physicality, then it's going to be hard, especially with. But again, I said this when I was talking about it before. Still, though, the Nuggets got a lot of wide open shots, and they missed a hell of a lot of open shots. They were forcing the ball into Jokic primarily because nobody was making the wide open shots. So, that the officials, I thought, look, I'm never going to complain about it. I didn't get the way it was officiated tonight or most of the series. I think there was a lot of fouling being done on Jokic away from the ball that was not being called. Actually, he was getting called for offensive fouls like the majority of the time when that was going on because he was getting frustrated and he was grabbing and pushing and throwing back. So, it is what it is. Ultimately, though, the officials weren't missing wide open shots. That was the Denver Nuggets. So, okay, now we have reached Just the Messengers. Gary, what does Just the Messenger have for us? Gary, you're on mute.
All right, sorry. All right, Denver, run it back or blow it up. Who can they get?
Okay, so Just Messenger, thank you. I have been saying to blow it up for 2 years now. I think the problem is their contract situation is absolutely terrible. They've got for just next year. So basically for the next 2 years, they have Nikola Jokic on book for in the $50 million range, 55 and 59, 55 next year, 59 the following year. Jamal Murray, 46 million next year, 50 the following year, 53 the year after that, 57 the year after that, to 2028, 2029 season. So those are all fully guaranteed, by the way. No player options on any of that, no team options. And then they have Aaron Gordon on books, fully guaranteed through 2027, 2028 in the mid 30 range million. And then he has a player option for 2028, 2029 at 37 million. And then Michael Porter Jr. for next year and the year after at 38 and 40 million. Woof. Zeke Nanji on the books for next year for 8 million. On the books the following year for 8 million. Like, these contracts are so horrible, so terrible. While I would blow it up, how? Like, I just don't see any way anybody is taking those contracts back for better players. Like, what team is looking at any of those guys and saying, like, yo, we'll take those two or one or two of those guys and send you better players back in return? Like, the only way you could do that maybe is if you have some crazy amount of first-round picks. Like, if they had like 12 first-round picks in the next 5 years, like, you could attach 2 or 3 first-round picks to each player and send them out to incentivize that kind of a move. But they don't. Like, they don't even have control of that many first rounds. And the problem is Jokic is still going to find a way to 50 wins, even though this team is so terrible. So they're not going to be good or high picks. So the other problem with the other part of this equation is, for a second year in a row, look, they were right in that series against the Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves got beat badly last year by Dallas. So, it's not like Dallas, they just lost to Minnesota and then Minnesota went and won the championship. Like they lost to Minnesota. Then Dallas beat Minnesota. Then Boston beat Dallas. So but this year, the Thunder are going to go win the championship easily. So I think there will be some incentive for the front office and ownership to say, hey, look, we're pretty close, actually. Like we were in a game 7 with the team that easily won the championship. We should probably just keep this thing together and go back at it. That's the problem of how drastically this team overachieves. Jokic, how drastically Jokic overachieves, how much he raises the floor. He's hurting himself. He's making the team look better than it is. So then in the offseason, the front office is looking at it and saying, like, well, we don't have to make any moves at all. So like last year, they made no moves practically in the offseason. They did make no moves. In the last 3 years, they've made no interseason moves. So like this season, they were one of only 4 teams league-wide to not make one single move in the season. And they did that last year. Not one single move in season. So like they just stand pat. They're content with what they have because Jokic is just making it look like, oh, we have a snowball's chance in hell to compete. So I think they're going to look at this and say, hey, look, we were in a game 7. Michael Porter Jr. basically shouldn't have been playing. Aaron Gordon basically shouldn't have been playing. The bench was so terrible. Let's find one good bench player in the offseason. Like, let's find one guy to pump the bench up a little bit. Deron Holmes comes back, presumptively from the ruptured Achilles. They drafted him to be some kind of a bench relief for Nikola Jokic. So let's get him back, see how that looks. Add one guy in free agency on some kind of a mini mid-level exception and just go from there. And it's just going to be the same thing. They're going to win like 52, 53 games, be the 3-4 seed, lose in the second round. Like it's just going to be the same exact thing because the team just is not good enough. And that really does get us to my overall. Actually, we'll just do this one real quick. I did get another super chat in from Vegas96 who was on the live stream today for 2.5 hours on that MJFB one I referenced earlier. So Vegas96, thank you for being there. Thank you for being here. Gary, what does Vegas96 have? And then I'll get into my overall premise here, my overall point of this live stream.
Denver should sign Caitlyn Clark. She'll make threes. No, this would never happen because the Fever would not allow her to play for the Nuggets. Conflict of interest there, Vegas. That's not realistic.
I honestly think, though, look, I don't think Caitlyn Clark can compete against men. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't think.
Should they sign Angel Reese?
I don't think in basketball, I don't think women can compete against men. But with that said, in all sincerity and all honesty, if you put Caitlyn Clark on this Nuggets team, I think she would probably make more shots than a lot of the guys that are surrounding him from time to time. The shots are so open, so easy that I honestly do think it's literally just shooting practice. And I think Caitlyn Clark would probably be a better option than many of the guys. I really do. That's how bad this team plays around him from time to time. Vegas 96 slid one more in here. Let's do this one real quick. Gary, what is the follow-up from Vegas 96?
Yeah, I definitely don't think the Nuggets should be looking at Caitlyn Clark, but I think they should be looking at Angel Reese. She would be way better. Okay, why didn't Denver play DeAndre Jordan and match size with OKC? They got lobbed to death. Aaron couldn't jump. I don't know, just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know because DeAndre Jordan stinks. He's old. He's washed up. I think probably that's why. You're right. It was clear they needed more size today. Typically when Aaron Gordon's healthy and athletic and like they're actually pretty big because you've got Michael Porter Jr. is like 6'10", 6'11". Aaron Gordon 6'10", 6'11". Jokic is like 6'11". So they're actually pretty big. The problem is like Michael Porter Jr. plays smaller than he is, and he couldn't lift his arm over his head basically. And then Aaron Gordon couldn't move today. So those were definitely some pervasive issues today in that second quarter where the game, the series, and the season ended. But it just is what it is. Part of the limitations of this series, which is what I'm really getting to here at this point. Actually, Ultrion is in with a really substantial super chat here. So I do just want to touch on Ultrion's super, who he found Ultrion has found the Scap Live Lounge. I think really first came in after the Nuggets blew that heartbreaking Game 5 loss, and has been an active member here. Not only an active member in the lounge for the last couple 4 or 5 days, but really a very generous benefactor of us here in the Scap Live area. So I do just want to get to this point real quick. And I think that Ultrion, I hope you not only listen to my answer of your comment or question here, but really what I'm about to go on, the points I'm about to go on after that. So Gary, can you read that for us though first?
Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are officially the biggest flashes in the pan that I've ever seen. Time to send them to Alcatraz for their crimes against the team. They got outplayed by Aaron Gordon on one leg. Absolutely pathetic.
Extraordinarily well said, Ultrion. And again, many thanks for your kind donation here. Yeah, let me just get a sip of my water here. And I really have been kind of holding this back for the first 90 minutes of this Scap Live After Dark.
You're not about to cry, are you?
No. Look, I have a lot of supporters here, I think. And by default, there are, sorry, I was just checking on my best friend, Luna. I thought maybe I ran over her tail. She's sad and depressed, just like me and all of us Nuggets fans out here tonight. Many of you on here are very supportive of me and by extension, the Nuggets. But this next message is not to any of you. It's to the scrub loser trolls that may be out here as part of the 400 and whatever odd people we have on here. The 2,500 some comments we've had already in the first 90 minutes of this live stream. This is to you guys. And I know that all of them are not here. These are people that I see in the comment sections of my videos pretty regularly. These are people that I see just on social media that are not relating to me in any way or following me or commenting on just things I see in passing. This is to the media, the media haters that have been destroying Nikola Jokic for the last couple years. I'm sure those cries and criticisms are only going to get louder and louder as we go here now throughout the remainder of this playoff and into the postseason. So this is to all of you, because look, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I don't begrudge or blame you people, because you're obviously either one, not educated enough to talk about it, or two, not intelligent enough to understand the information that I'm about to lay out. So I'm going to talk very slow, very calmly, and I'm going to use as little words as I possibly can to describe to all of you losers out there who are trying to equate him in some way to like LeBron James, or trying to make it sound like I am being hypocritical in some way or inconsistent with my dealings of Nikola Jokic versus a player like LeBron James or a Kevin Durant or a Jason Tatum. I'm going to talk really slowly, and I'm going to see if I could, again, limit it to 2-syllable words or less, and see if I could get you all of the information you need. Nikola Jokic started his prime 5 years ago in his age 25 season. I think it's pretty unreasonable to expect a guy in this basically from 1980 on to win a championship or be competitive for championships before they hit their age 25 season. Now, I know back in, I'm sorry, after the 1980s, I know Bill Russell was winning titles when he was very young. Magic won when he was 20. Larry Bird won when he's 24. But look, those were different times. When Bill Russell was doing that, he had 8 other Hall of Famers on his team. There were 9, 10 teams total league-wide. It was a different time, different era, different rules, different circumstances. Larry Bird, when he won when he was 24, had, Parrish and McHale. McHale wasn't quite McHale yet when they won that first one, but a very stellar supporting cast around him when he won that first one at 24. Magic Johnson, of course, had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on that team when he won. When you look at the great players, basically from like the last 40 years and on, Michael Jordan was 27 years old when he won his first title. Steph Curry was 26 years old when he won his first title. LeBron James was 27 when he won his first title. Kevin Durant was 26 when he won his first title. Really, the only young players we've seen win championships in the last 40 years, young, great, all-time players. Kobe Bryant, basically, and Tim Duncan. Like, Kobe was 21 when he won. Tim Duncan was 22. Yeah, like David Robinson was 33 years old. He wasn't still David Robinson on the team that Duncan won his first title with, but he was still only 33. He finished that year 12th in MVP voting, and he was 4th in Defensive Player of the Year voting that year. So he was still David Robinson, like top 50 all-time player. Then Duncan didn't win another ring till he was 26 when he got Ginobili, Parker. My point being, look, Michael Jordan, 27, LeBron James, 27, Steph Curry, 26. I don't think we can detract Nikola Jokic for not winning rings when he was 23 or 24 years old. So beginning when he was 25, when he won his first league MVP and started his prime, that has been the peak of Nikola Jokic. So that is now a 5-year span of evidence that we have seen. Over that span of time, this is how his playoff runs have gone. In the first season of his first MVP year at 25, the first year of his prime, in that year, they did not have Jamal Murray for that entire postseason. So they won one series and lost in the second round with no Jamal Murray. So he was missing his second best player for the entirety of that postseason. He then won another MVP the very next year in his age 26 season. That season, he didn't have Jamal Murray for the whole playoffs or Michael Porter Jr. Neither one of them were available for the whole playoffs, which didn't last very long for him that year. They lost in the first round. That was 2022. They lost to the Golden State Warriors, who won the NBA championship that year. That was the year that Andrew Wiggins made an all-star team. They had Steph Curry, Clay, Draymond, and they went on and won the NBA title. Jokic's his two leading scorers on that series outside of himself were Monte Morris and Will Barton. Okay, that was his age 26 season's playoff run. So, like, he's without his best player in the 1 year. He's without his two best players in the second year. Got it. We're not blaming him for those losses at all. I don't think we can take any points off of him for that. Then in the next year, they actually have a fully healthy and intact team around Jokic. Not a great team because he has no all-stars around him, but they were at least all healthy and available. In that year, they won the NBA championship. So even though they have an extremely shallow bench and no other all-star players surrounding him, when they were at least all healthy and available, they won the NBA championship. Okay, got it. That was year 3 of his prime. Last year, in his age 29 season, his 4th year of prime, he wins another MVP. They lose in 7 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And in that series and for the whole playoffs, everybody was talking about Jamal Murray just wasn't right. I called him a bum for the whole playoffs and the whole offseason, and people were always pushing back on me. Scap. He's not a bum. He was just hurt. Fine. You're right. He was hurt. He was limping and hobbling all over the place. He clearly wasn't right. He scored 20 points per game throughout that playoff run on 20 shots a game, just barely over 39%. Come in this year, Jamal Murray's finally healthy. This is year 5 of Nikola Jokic's prime. Still no all-stars. As I went over earlier, 22nd best rated bench in the NBA, the worst bench by far to make the NBA playoffs. And they're very top heavy with the 4 guys who, again, the 4 guys being Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, and Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. None of them other than Nikola Jokic has ever made a single All-Star team. They didn't this year. But they come in, at least Jamal Murray's healthy and available and doing Jamal Murray things throughout the playoffs. Aaron Gordon's playing good. Of course, we know Michael Porter Jr. scored 7 points per game in this series on 31% shooting because he just was not available. He was hurt. And then at the very end, tail end of game 6, their, to me, second most important player, all playoff run long, Aaron Gordon, popped that hamstring, grade 2, 3 to 5 week injury, tried to gut it out tonight, couldn't really. 8 points, a shell of himself all over the court. So essentially, 2 of their 4 best players totally unavailable in this game 7, and they would have been moving forward. So it doesn't really matter if they somehow pull a miracle. They weren't going to have enough with the worst bench in the playoffs and missing essentially 2 of their 4 best players. So you look at a team that is very shallow. You look at a team that doesn't even have good top-end talent because these guys aren't decorated at all. No All-NBA team selections, no All-Star selections ever. But at least the one time we have ever seen them actually healthy, all of them, around Nikola Jokic in his entire prime, which is now 5 years long, they won a title. So why will I continue to never, ever criticize Jokic? Because of everything I just laid out. This is the same kind of supporting cast that Kevin Garnett had for the first 13 years of his career in Minnesota. And KG made it out of the first round exactly one time in 13 years before he had to go essentially build a super team. This is the same kind of supporting cast that LeBron James had in his first 7 years in Cleveland. And LeBron James, of course, had to go build a super team to win anything. Nikola Jokic isn't running. He isn't crying. He isn't begging. He isn't demanding trades. He's just going to sign an extension to keep doing it for the next 5-6 years of the remainder of his prime. And he's likely never going to win a championship. That is a limitation and a failure of the front office, of the ownership, of the supporting players they have put around him. It doesn't have a damn thing to do with Nikola Jokic. And that's why I will never be critical of this guy. Whenever I see him with an elite supporting cast and he fails, I'll let you guys know. I'll be here to criticize him. I think even had there been no injuries and had Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray all been healthy this year, I think they win the championship this year, quite frankly. The way this Thunder series played out, I think if those 2 guys were healthy the whole way, I think they probably would have won this series and won the title. I think had Jamal Murray been able to play consistently like Jamal Murray last year, they likely would have at least got into the finals. I still think Boston would have been difficult for them to beat. But look, it's just a matter of bad timing, bad cast, bad organization, and then bad injury luck. Nikola Jokic is the only guy that's healthy, available, and playing great throughout. He's the only consistent thing about this entire Denver team, and he has been for a decade straight now, and that will continue to be the case going on into year 11 next season. So I hope all of you can take that in. Take this with you maybe moving forward. You could play it back. Listen to it maybe a couple times. Try to go and look up what I said. Look into Will Barton and Monte Morris in the 2022 playoffs. Look into them, without Jamal Murray in the 2021 playoffs. Look at Jamal Murray last year. Look at Aaron Gordon today. Look at Michael Porter Jr. this whole series. And then look at what they look like with a fully healthy complement around him of, again, just role players, not superstars, not even all-stars, just good role players around him when they're actually healthy and available. Title. So now for any of you that are on here, any of you 400 some people that have been, posting these scrubbish comments on here in criticisms of Nikola Jokic, you now have the information been made available to you. So if you have just been uneducated on these things, now you know moving forward. If you persist with the scrubbishness of the comments, then we know that you're just unintelligent. We just know that you're a damn fool if you continue to criticize Nikola Jokic at this point. So, Gary, I was glad to get that off my chest. we do have a couple more super chats that have trickled in throughout the course of that, including Vegas 96 back in. Gary, what does Vegas 96 have for us?
Have you seen 2025 free agents on ESPN?
I don't. I know that it doesn't look good, quite frankly. A lot of it is like kind of speculative, like LeBron James is listed as a free agent. Like they're like anybody on a player option is going to be listed. Like the top. Like I'm looking at all of the juiciest of all of the free agents. Like all of them are basically player options. So like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Chris Middleton, Julius Randle, like they're all player options. So like most of those players are likely to execute the player option, or what is even more probable in many of those cases, the team will rework and execute some kind of an extension. So like many of the guys you're looking at like aren't even really like good free agents, right? Like Naz Reid, another one player option. So it's bleak. Like there's not many good available free agents. So and the thing is, the Nuggets don't have any ability to sign them anyway. So like if you're asking as it pertains to like the Denver Nuggets, like they're not going to be able to get any of these guys, even if they were, going to void a contract and move on. I'm looking at some other names like Jonathan Kuminga, Josh Giddey, Fred Van Vliet, Cam Thomas, Chris LeVert, Bobby Portis. Like these are some of the top options. But again, like the Nuggets do not have really any kind of spacing. They're kind of near the apron. So they just made bad moves. Like the contracts are just not good. Like Jamal Murray at $50 million a year is just unbelievable. And just as bad as that may sound, like Michael Porter Jr. at $40 million to me is even worse. And I love Aaron Gordon. And when he's healthy, like I think he averaged like 16 or 17 points per game. Like he's probably worth it. Like he's probably worth $35 million. But then you've got like Zeke Nnaji at $8-9 million. It's just outrageous. Like Dario Saric, like $5.5, $6 million. Like that's $14 million for two guys that basically didn't play in the series at all. Like they got in only in like the blowout games at the very end when the bench emptied. Like, so that's 14 mil for those two guys that didn't play even. So the contracts are bad. They're committed through lengthy portions of the next couple years with them in fully guarantees. I mean, it just doesn't look good for them. But again, Jokic will never be critical of the organization. He will never be critical of his teammates, and he's never going to demand a trade. So this is what it is. He is Dirk Nowitzki. He is Hakeem Olajuwon. Like, it just is what it is. A guy, an all-time great who just simply is going to be squandered and wasted primarily for the vast majority of his career. Eddy TV, welcome in. What do you got? What does Eddy TV have for us, Gary?
Eddy TV, shout out to you with that Toronto Blue Jays cap on. I really like that. What do you mean, you people? LOL, just kidding.
Yeah, Eddie, I'm not that's kind of like there's some racial undertones in that joke, but this is completely colorblind, totally. It has nothing to do with your race, ethnicity, gender, anything, whatever you identify as or whatever you are. I am completely blind to any of that. This is just to the idiots, the low IQ, trolls, scrubs, and losers out there, or the uneducated, lazy individuals out there that haven't done the legwork to either watch these games, these series, or look into, the context of what happened in the past. That's really who I'm speaking loud and clear to, I hope, Eddy TV. And there really is, quite frankly, no way around it. If you are sitting here in the aftermath of this game and this series, and your primary takeaway is like Nikola Jokic choked or Nikola Jokic is overrated, like you're an idiot. Like you either didn't watch the game, so you're uneducated because you don't have the appropriate information available to make a comment, in which case you should shut your damn mouth, or you're an idiot if you've seen the game and that's your takeaway. So that's what I mean by you people, Eddie. Like those are the people I'm talking about, the idiots. So if they're still out there now at this point, I guess I have nothing further to say. You're just an idiot. Justin Messenger is back in. What do you got, Justin Messenger?
OKC progressing just like the 90s Bulls. Oldest player is 30. No constant changes. Smart picks and organically built. Time for them to break out.
I've been saying it since September. It's just not a surprise at all to me. This was a predictable series. This is going to be a predictable rest of the playoffs and a predictable next 5 years when the Thunder win like 3 to 4 titles in the next 5 years. So really, there is no shock and awe here from me. The only shock and awe would have been if Denver somehow pulled an absolute miracle and somehow got through and won this series in some way. But obviously, the clock struck midnight tonight. The carriage turned back into a pumpkin, and the Denver Nuggets were who we knew they were all season long, and the Oklahoma City Thunder were who we knew they were all season long. The Denver Nuggets, a subpar, a mediocre to below average team, quite frankly, and the Oklahoma City Thunder, historically great, and they're on the cusp of doing things that are just that, historically great. Sully's Tech Hub is back in. Sully's Tech Hub. Thank you again for being now. This is Sully's Tech Hub has been with us now, has been with me for now 5.5 hours today. So that's a lot of scap going on here for Sully. So thank you, Sully, for being here with me in the lounge. Gary, what does Sully have this time?
Hypothetical. Barring true super team pairings, where could you put Jokic that would become instant title contenders? No teams that are already title contenders like OKC, Boston, or Cavaliers, Detroit, Bulls, or Spurs. So basically, you put Jokic on any team that's not constructed by Calvin Booth, and they're pretty much instant contenders.
I mean, that's for sure. That's true. I think the one team that I think makes the most sense, it's never going to happen. So yes, it's hypothetical because he's never going to demand a trade. But the team that makes the most sense to me that I would most like to see is Dillon Brooks and Alfred Sengun, for Dillon Brooks primarily for a salary match, which let me just take a quick look at the Houston Rockets books. Because I'm sure Sengun doesn't make Schengen, however we're saying that. He's a young stud. They call him Baby Jokic, actually. He is a stud. He's an all-star this year. He's a fantastic young player. And he is where the hell is he even on the books? He's making 33 mil next year. And Dillon Brooks is making 21. So that is literally a complete salary match. So that would be 34 million or 54 million. Jokic makes like 54 million, 54, 55 million next year. So Dillon Brooks thrown in for salary matching purposes, and Alperen Sengun, who is an absolute undeniable stud. And he is very young. He is only 22 years old. So he's 8 years younger than Nikola Jokic. He's an all-star this year. I think he's all NBA caliber potential. Again, they call him Baby Jokic. Like 20, 10, and 5 averages, something like along those lines at 22 years of age. He's making 33 mil. Dillon Brooks making 21. Combine them, it's 55 mil. It's a salary match for Jokic. You send those two out, and literally every first-round pick that you control for the next 5 years, which I believe is 4. I think the Nuggets possess or control 4 first-round picks between this upcoming year and 2030. So those 2 guys and 4 first-round picks for Nikola Jokic. At that point, like, shit. Sorry, guys. Are you still with me, Gary?
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I accidentally kicked myself out. I've got an echo going now too. I think.
You need to mute yourself if you're on the YouTube. If you have the YouTube window open in addition to the live stream software, you're on mute now. I can't hear you. You muted the wrong thing, I think. Unmute. Now I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Am I echo?
Not for me. Does anyone else? Let me check the comments. No echo. Everything looks good over here.
Okay. All right. I can hear myself, which is weird.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I did something. I accidentally kicked myself out of the stream. So I apologize for that. This is short. This is not echoing at
all. No, not that I hear.
All right, I'll try to make my way through this if I can. I can't for whatever reason. Hang on, let me do. All right, how about now? Do you have me now?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you fine.
All right.
Yeah.
This is very distracting, guys. I'm sorry. I can hear myself. I see myself in the backstage area here twice. I'm sorry. I X'd out of myself on the live stream. So, I kicked myself out when I joined back on. Now I'm duplicated, and I now hear my own talking going on. So this is odd for me. But I think we're about.
Do you have YouTube open?
No. No,
you don't. Okay.
Just StreamYard, only StreamYard. I tried Xing out of my Rockets payroll, and I X'd out of the StreamYard instead. So, guys, I apologize for the echo. It sounds like some people are saying yes, there is echoing going on. I see. So, oh wait, someone said no more echo. Guys, if you're in the chat, I'm on the chat now. Can you tell me if there's an echo right now? Anybody just chime in?
I don't hear one right now.
All right. Well, yes, as I was saying when I so rudely exited myself out of StreamYard, I think the Houston Rockets are a very enticing option to trade Nikola Jokic to. That is a fair deal. It would be fair for Denver. It would be fair for Houston. And I think that the Rockets would be an automatic contender. I think they would actually win the NBA championship next season if they made that trade in this summer, but it will never happen. 100%, no shot whatsoever. Because Jokic is just too classy, and he's never going to do something like that. So, but good question from I think that was Sully's Tech Hub, and I believe we already answered Justin Messenger as well, right? Yeah. All right. So we hit on Sully's hypothetical trade. My answer is the Houston Rockets for sure. Is the best looking option, but we all know what it is. Nikola Jokic, like Dirk Nowitzki, is going to finish his career like Luka Doncic would have. Obviously, Hakeem Olajuwon didn't. He went to the Raptors at the end. It was weird. He primarily stayed the majority of his career in Houston. These foreign players seem to typically stay put, and I think Nikola Jokic is going to do just that. Guys, we have worked to the end of our super chats here for the evening. We have crescendoed over the 2-hour mark here in the SCAP Live Lounge. This was an early edition of the Scap Live Lounge, though later than I would typically like to come on since the game was still ongoing, or it ended kind of like 2 hours before I actually made it on. I'm sorry I was not home to join you earlier, but I'm glad to have those of you that did join us in the aftermath of that beating tonight. I'm glad to have had you guys on. Like I said earlier, typically I know I get more of a viewing when Jokic is playing or when the Nuggets are in action in some capacity. I will be doing these for the remainder of the playoffs, so hopefully you guys are planning to stick with me. If not, it's been a great run with you guys. Hopefully I will see you in the lounge throughout the Eastern and Western Conference Finals and into the NBA Finals. It's been, kind of a crazy 2 weeks. I think, Gary, what is this? Probably episode 13 or 14 for us now?
I think it's more like 11 or 12, something like that. Probably 12 or 13.
Okay.
Give or take. Probably going on, what, 2.5 weeks?
Been about 2.5 weeks of doing these things. I'd like to, like I said, keep doing them. Maybe expand the times that I'm doing them. Maybe move to do some weekday shows moving forward, perhaps. We'll see kind of what comes of that. And, of course, I will continue doing the videos, so you guys can obviously find me there as well. If you didn't see the game, obviously, that's pretty much all we talked about and what was next. The Denver Nuggets absolutely curb stomped out of the playoffs unceremoniously by the Oklahoma City Thunder, who look to start a dynasty now, in my estimation. So we'll see. We're down now to the final 4 teams left standing in the 2025 NBA playoffs. Pretty much 3 kind of surprises. We have a 6 seed and 4 seed, and I'm trying to think. I don't know. The 1 and 2 are out, I know, in the East, and we've got a 1 versus 6 in the West. So kind of some unexpected teams going forward now into these Final Four, but I think we're going to have a competitive Final Four. They begin after Monday, so 1 day off tomorrow. Then Tuesday begins the Eastern Conference. That's Pacers, Knicks, and then the West, Thunder will be hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll probably take a day off from the Scap Live Lounge area tomorrow, and then perhaps get back at it on Tuesday moving forward. It's going to be every day, basically, for the conference finals. And, we'll take it into June, where we'll decide this thing. In my estimation, the Thunder, like I said, easily going to get it done. And as for the Denver Nuggets, their offseason begins now, which will entail them finding a general manager and trying to figure out some way to improve this roster. But guys, it's been an honor hanging out with you here so far to this point in the playoffs. And Gary, many thanks for you and for your help. You've been great being our moderator here. Thank you very much. And Gary will as well be carrying through the rest of the playoffs with us too, hopefully. So it will not be tomorrow with no games on the queue, but we will see you shortly. And Gary, I hope you have a great day off tomorrow, obviously. And to all of you, if you are not subscribed for whatever reason, I would imagine all of you are at this point if you're still here. But if not, please make sure you do to help me get to my goal of 100,000 subscribers in this calendar year of 2025. And stay tuned for more with me. Until next time, guys.